My grandfather always had a twinkle in his eye. No matter what life threw at him, he'd always have a joke ready, something to make everyone smile. But then, something changed. He stopped telling his favorite stories. His laughter grew quieter, his steps became slower, and there was this look in his eyes, as if he knew something the rest of us didn't. At the time, I brushed it off. I thought, maybe he's just tired, maybe it's just old age. But looking back, I realize now, those were the signs I wish I had noticed sooner. If you have an elderly loved one, there are subtle changes that might mean their final year is near. Some of these are obvious, things we expect with aging, but others, most people miss them completely. And when the time comes, they wonder, did I overlook something important? That's why today I want to share 5 of these quiet signs, changes that might indicate someone is in their last chapter of life. Not to scare you, but to help you be more aware, to help you make the most of the time you have with them. Before we dive in, if you want real, compassionate advice on aging and caring for loved ones, consider subscribing and joining our Better Aging Advice community, because no one should go through this journey alone. Now let's talk about the first sign, one that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Subtle sign number 1, withdrawing from conversations. Have you noticed an elderly loved one talking less, skipping family calls, giving short, one-word answers? At first, it might seem like nothing. Maybe they're just tired or they're not in the mood to chat. But over time, you start to notice the pattern. The person who once loved sharing stories barely speaks anymore. They sit quietly at family gatherings, nodding along but rarely joining in. The phone rings and they let it go to voicemail. Conversations that used to flow easily now feel like pulling teeth. It's easy to assume they're just becoming more reserved with age, but sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Social withdrawal in the elderly can be mistaken for moodiness or personal preference, but in reality, it's often a signal of something deeper. Here's what could be happening. Declining physical health. As the body starts to slow down, even speaking can feel exhausting. Fatigue, pain, or difficulty breathing may make them less eager to hold long conversations. Depression and emotional fatigue. Aging comes with losses, friends, independence, mobility. These changes can lead to sadness, loneliness, and a sense of disconnection. Instead of opening up, they retreat inward. Cognitive changes. If someone is experiencing early signs of dementia or cognitive decline, conversations can feel overwhelming. They might struggle to find the right words, keep up with fast-paced discussions, or feel embarrassed when they forget details. Rather than risk frustration, they choose silence. The body conserving energy. As someone nears their final stage of life, their body naturally starts prioritizing essential functions. Social engagement, which once brought joy, may now feel like a task that requires more energy than they have. The worst thing we can do is assume their withdrawal is just a phase, or that they simply don't want to talk. Instead, here's how you can gently re-engage them. Make conversations easier. Instead of expecting them to jump into a big discussion, start small. Ask simple, open-ended questions that don't require too much effort to answer. Instead of, "How was your day?" try, "What was something small that made you smile today?" Create a comfortable space. Some seniors may withdraw because they feel like they can't keep up with fast conversations or group discussions. Try sitting with them one-on-one in a quiet setting where they don't feel pressured to perform. Be patient and present. Even if they don't talk much, just being there matters. Sit with them, hold their hand, and let them know they don't have to say a word to be loved and valued. Encourage gentle social interaction. If talking feels like too much, try engaging them in other ways. Listening to music together, watching an old favorite movie, or flipping through a photo album. Seek professional help if needed. If their withdrawal is sudden or extreme, it may be a sign of a medical issue. A doctor or therapist can help assess whether there's an underlying condition like depression or early cognitive decline. If you've noticed this sign in someone you love, don't blame yourself for not seeing it sooner. Instead, use this moment as an opportunity to be more present, more attentive, and more compassionate. Sometimes, the smallest acts, sitting beside them in silence, holding their hand, or simply saying, "I'm here whenever you want to talk," can mean the world. Have you seen this happen with someone in your life? Did you notice a loved one becoming quieter over time? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else going through the same thing. Subtle sign number 2, unexplained weight loss or change in appetite. They used to love their meals, but now their plate sits half empty. They say they're just not hungry anymore. At first, you might not think much of it. Maybe they had a big breakfast. Maybe they're just not in the mood for what's on their plate. But then you start to notice the pattern. Favorite meals go untouched. Portions get smaller and smaller. Clothes start to hang loosely on their frame. And when you ask, "Are you okay? Why aren't you eating?" they simply shrug and say, "I'm just not hungry these days." A sudden or gradual loss of appetite isn't just a small change. It can be a sign that the body is going through a deeper transition. Here are some common reasons why seniors stop eating. Metabolic slowdown. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows down, leading to decreased appetite. But when this change is extreme or rapid, it could indicate the body is preparing for its final stage. Difficulty swallowing. Dysphagia. Many elderly individuals develop trouble swallowing due to weakened muscles, neurological issues, or underlying conditions like Parkinson's or stroke history. Eating becomes uncomfortable or even painful, so they start avoiding food altogether. Changes in taste and smell. The sense of taste and smell often fades with age, making food less enjoyable. What once was a favorite meal may now seem bland or unappetizing, leading to disinterest in eating. Digestive issues. Constipation, acid reflux, or a slowing digestive system can make eating feel like a chore rather than a pleasure. Some seniors avoid meals simply because they don't want to deal with the discomfort that follows. Emotional and psychological factors. Loss of appetite is a common symptom of depression, grief, and loneliness. If someone has lost a spouse or close friend, they may no longer find joy in meals they once shared. The body's natural preparation for the end. In the final stage of life, the body gradually reduces its energy needs. The digestive system slows down, and the body starts to prioritize essential functions over food intake. This is a natural part of the process, but it can be difficult to witness. If you're noticing this change in a loved one, don't panic. but don't ignore it either. Here's how you can gently support them. Observe and track changes. Keep an eye on how much they're eating. A few skipped meals might not be a concern, but a noticeable ongoing decline in appetite should be addressed. Make meals easier and more enjoyable. If chewing or swallowing is difficult, try soft foods, smoothies, or nutrient-dense soups. If taste is the issue, experiment with seasonings or their favorite flavors. Create a relaxing eating environment. Sometimes eating alone feels lonely. Sitting down with them, playing soft music, or making mealtimes a pleasant experience can encourage them to eat more. Offer smaller, more frequent meals. Instead of expecting them to eat large portions, try offering smaller meals throughout the day. A little snack here and there can make a big difference. Hydration is key. Sometimes seniors don't drink enough water, which can further decrease appetite. Encourage hydration with flavored water, herbal teas, or even hydrating foods like watermelon or cucumbers. Seek medical advice when needed. If their weight loss is rapid or extreme, or if they're struggling to eat altogether, consult a doctor. There could be an underlying medical issue that needs attention. If your loved one is eating less, don't force them. Instead, offer patience, understanding, and gentle encouragement. In some cases, the goal isn't to make them eat a full plate of food, but to ensure they're comfortable and cared for. Have you noticed this in someone you care about? What helped them regain their appetite, or how did you handle it? Share your experience in the comments. Your insight could help others facing the same challenge. Subtle sign number 3, sleeping more than usual. They used to wake up early, always ready to start the day. But now, they sleep well into the afternoon, and even when they're awake, they still seem exhausted. At first, you might think maybe they just didn't sleep well last night. But then the pattern continues. They start taking long naps in the middle of the day. They sit in their favorite chair, drifting off every few minutes. Conversations are shorter, and their energy seems to fade faster than before. You gently ask, "Are you okay? You've been sleeping a lot lately." And they simply reply, "I'm just tired." Sleeping more than usual isn't just laziness or a normal part of aging. It can be a sign that the body is slowing down and preparing for its final stage. Here's why. Decreased energy production. As we age, our bodies don't generate energy as efficiently. The heart may pump more slowly, circulation may decrease, and organs may start functioning at a lower capacity, making even small activities feel exhausting. Metabolic slowdown. The body naturally starts conserving energy, prioritizing essential functions. Less energy is spent on digestion, movement, and even thinking, leading to more sleep and longer periods of rest. Increased fatigue from daily activities. Simple tasks like getting dressed, eating, or walking to the bathroom may take more effort than before. As a result, the body craves more rest to recover. Lack of stimulation. When a person becomes less active, their body starts to adapt to that slower pace. If they're not engaging in conversations, socializing, or staying physically active, their body naturally starts needing more sleep. The body preparing for the final stage. In the last stage of life, the body gradually begins to shut down. The increased sleep isn't a sign of weakness, it's the body's way of conserving its remaining energy for essential functions. Seeing a loved one sleep more can be concerning, but there are ways to support them with love and care. Let them rest. If they're sleeping more, it's because their body needs it. Forcing them to stay awake or be more active can actually cause more harm than good. Encourage gentle stimulation. If they're sleeping too much during the day, try engaging them in light activities they enjoy, like listening to music, watching a favorite movie, or sitting outside in fresh air. Check for discomfort. Sometimes excessive sleep is linked to pain, depression, or an underlying medical issue. If they seem unusually lethargic, a doctor's visit can help rule out treatable conditions. Be present when they're awake. When they do wake up, make the most of that time. Sit with them, hold their hand, and share a conversation, even if it's just a few words. Monitor for sudden changes. If their sleeping habits change drastically overnight, it might indicate a more serious condition. Keep an eye out for other signs of decline, such as confusion, loss of appetite, or withdrawal from loved ones. If your loved one is sleeping more, it's not a sign that they're giving up. It's a natural part of the body's transition. Instead of worrying about how much they sleep, focus on making their waking moments as peaceful and meaningful as possible. Have you noticed changes in their sleep? Are they resting more than usual? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your thoughts matter, and your experience might help someone else. Subtle sign number 4, a sudden sense of peace or goodbye gestures. One of the most heartbreaking yet beautiful signs some elderly people seem to know. It's a moment that catches you off guard. Maybe they suddenly start giving away cherished possessions, the watch they've worn for decades, the book they always kept by their bedside, the necklace that belonged to their mother. Maybe they begin speaking in past tense. I've had a good life instead of I love my life. Or maybe, after weeks or months of being distant, they suddenly seem at peace, smiling more, holding your hand longer, telling you how much they love you. At first, you might feel relieved, they seem happier, maybe they're getting better, but deep down, something feels different, as if they're saying goodbye in their own quiet way. While not everyone experiences this, many elderly people nearing the end of life have an intuitive sense that their time is near. This shift often comes from a deep inner awareness. Even without a clear medical reason, some people just know when they are nearing the end. They begin wrapping up loose ends, expressing gratitude and finding closure, letting go of earthly attachments, giving away possessions, sharing final words of wisdom, or even revisiting old memories can be a way of preparing themselves and their loved ones for what's to come. A sudden emotional or spiritual clarity. Many families notice that their loved one, after months of decline, suddenly becomes more alert, talkative, or peaceful. It's almost as if they've found acceptance and are offering a final gift of connection, saying unspoken goodbyes. Whether through a heartfelt conversation, an extra long hug, or simply spending more time with family, these moments are often their way of saying, I love you, I'm grateful, and I'm ready. As hard as it is to witness, these moments are not something to fear. Instead, they are a chance to cherish, honor, and hold close. Here's how you can make the most of this time. Listen to their stories. If they start reminiscing about their past, encourage them. Ask questions, soak in their wisdom, and let them share what's on their heart. Accept their gestures with gratitude. If they give you something special, accept it fully. It's more than just an object, it's a piece of them, a way of saying, remember me. Reassure them. Let them know they are loved, they are safe, and they don't need to worry about anything left undone. A simple, "You've done enough. We love you," can bring immense comfort. Be fully present. These moments are fleeting. Hold their hand, sit with them in silence. Let them feel your love, even if no words are spoken. Say what's in your heart. If you've been waiting for the right time to say, "I love you, I forgive you," or "thank you," this is that time. Don't leave words unspoken. A sudden sense of peace or goodbye gestures are not necessarily a bad thing. They are a final act of love, a gift of closure. And while it's painful, it's also an opportunity to cherish every last moment, to express love without hesitation, and to be there for them in the way they need most. Have you ever experienced this with a loved one? Did they seem to know before they passed? If you feel comfortable, share your experience in the comments. Your story may bring comfort to someone going through the same thing. Subtle sign number 5, increased confusion or hallucinations. One evening, my grandmother looked at me and said, "Your grandfather is here to take me home. He had passed away years ago." At that moment, I felt a chill. I looked around the room, seeing nothing but the dim glow of her bedside lamp. She smiled softly, her eyes focused on something or someone I couldn't see. "He's waiting for me," she whispered, as if she wasn't afraid, as if she knew something I didn't. For many families, witnessing a loved one experience confusion, see visions, or talk to people who have long passed away is both unsettling and heartbreaking. But what if I told you it's more common than you think? As the body transitions toward the final stage of life, the brain can begin processing the world differently. This can lead to increased disorientation, delirium. The body's decline can cause moments of confusion, making it harder to recognize familiar faces, understand time, or even remember where they are. They might ask for relatives who are no longer alive or believe they are in a different place, like their childhood home. Seeing departed loved ones. Many people nearing the end report seeing, hearing, or feeling the presence of loved ones who have passed. These experiences are not usually distressing to them. Rather, they bring comfort. Some believe it's the mind preparing for transition, while others see it as something spiritual, mixing dreams with reality. The line between wakefulness and sleep can blur. A loved one might wake up convinced they just had a conversation with someone who isn't there, or they might talk about events that never happened. Medication and oxygen changes. In some cases, confusion or hallucinations can be caused by medications, infections, or decreased oxygen levels in the brain. If the changes are sudden and distressing, it's worth checking with a doctor. If you notice a loved one experiencing confusion or visions, here's how to handle it with love and reassurance. Stay calm and reassure them. Correcting them isn't always helpful. Instead of saying, "That's not real," try, "Tell me more about what you see." This can bring them peace instead of frustration. Ask gentle questions. If they believe they're seeing someone who has passed, ask what they're saying or how they feel. Many times, these visions bring a sense of comfort rather than fear. Avoid arguing or correcting. If they believe they are in a different time or place, don't force reality on them. It's okay to gently redirect the conversation rather than cause distress. Check for medical causes. If confusion comes on suddenly, it could be due to dehydration, infection, or medication side effects. A doctor can help determine if there's an underlying issue that needs attention. Be present and listen. Even if their words don't make complete sense, they may still have emotions they need to express. Simply being there, holding their hand, and letting them talk can bring them peace. Increased confusion and visions of departed loved ones aren't necessarily a sign of distress. They're often part of the body's natural transition. Many people who experience this seem at peace, as if they're being guided towards something familiar and comforting. While it can be difficult to witness, try to see these moments as opportunities to offer love, to provide comfort, and to be fully present in their final days. Have you or someone you know witnessed this? Have you heard stories of loved ones seeing someone before they passed? Share your experience in the comments. Let's support each other in this journey. Aging is a journey we all walk. Some as we grow older ourselves, others as we care for the people we love. But knowing these signs can help us walk that path with more love, awareness, and care. It's never easy to witness these changes in someone we cherish, but instead of fearing them, we can use this knowledge to create more meaningful moments. Listen more. Let them share their stories, even if you've heard them 100 times. Be present. A simple touch, a shared meal, or quiet company can mean everything. Cherish the small moments, the laughter, the conversations, even the silence. These are the memories that will stay with us. Life is fragile, but love lasts. And the time we spend with our elderly loved ones is never wasted. If this video helped you, subscribe for more compassionate advice on aging well and caring for those who matter most. And before you go, let me know in the comments, what's one thing you wish you had known earlier about aging or caring for a loved one? Your insight might help someone else on this journey.